So my name's Tom. I'm a personal trainer, and I work out of my gym here in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tom,
Yeah.
you are a personal trainer in my gym, Lincoln, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many years are you living in Lincoln?
So I've been living in Lincoln for about 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
I first moved here when I came to university, and then I basically didn't leave. So about 4 or 5 years. I joined uni in 2020. So yeah, 5 years this year. In September it'll be 5 years.
Okay. So you moved into Lincoln basically during COVID.
Yeah. So yeah, it was sort of the midway through COVID. Yeah. That's when I started university.
And how did you find Lincoln at that specific time? Because you know there is a big difference between moving in before COVID and during, right?
It was good. I think especially for like university, it forced us to be closer together in like in a weird way. Because we couldn't go out and party and stuff. We had to socialize with each other. So like my mates that I made at uni, I think we're a lot closer than maybe previous years or maybe years that are going forward now, because we were forced to speak to each other. We couldn't just go into a club with loud music and
like closed social bubble.
Exactly.
Okay. So you 5 years.
Yeah.
Let's say 5 years you're in Lincoln. How do you find Lincoln community? And because as I understand, you're starting to know a lot of people. Because of the gym, because of your role as a personal trainer, because of university. How do you find Lincoln? Because I'm decently new in the city, so I'm kind of trying to understand the dynamics of the community.
As far as I'm aware, from the time that I've been here, everyone seems nice. In Lincoln, it seems most people know most people. You can't really get away with much in Lincoln, I don't think. The community is quite small because the city itself is quite small. I think sort of generally everyone seems to know everyone, and everyone's happy to help each other out. Is sort of the way that I've found Lincoln so far. I haven't had any outwardly negative experiences with anyone or anything really.
Because myself, I found that the city and the people is well mannered, and there is a decent degree of respect and understanding for each other. So I found that myself with my family, right? So look, we are in the sports industry, right? We live, we breathe, we eat sports industry, right? What is happening in Lincoln? I know football. Educate me. What's happening in Lincoln from a sports perspective that is growing this city?
From a sports perspective, I don't really know. To be fair, I don't think there's maybe loads and loads of things that are happening. Obviously, we've got the sports team and the university. They do loads of sports at the university, and it is definitely becoming more popular now going forward. So, like, I did strength and conditioning at uni. And that course is sort of like growing and growing. So my cohort was only like 20 people, but then the year after was maybe 25, and then it's definitely becoming more and more popular as we go forward. But I don't know as though there's like loads and loads of sort of maybe avenues for sport in Lincoln, as far as I'm aware. But yeah,
sounds like a issue of a separation of a so not being much of a jointly on a mission to grow the sports of the Lincoln. Could you say that?
Yeah, I would potentially say that. I think there's maybe not as many avenues to go down because Lincoln in itself is small. So the amount of sports teams, the amount of football, rugby, whatever. Weirdly, I think in Lincoln there's a much larger sort of like single person sports, so like martial arts. I can think of probably 5 or 6 martial arts gyms off the top of my head in Lincoln. I couldn't think of that many football teams. I'm sure there is that many football teams in Lincoln, but I couldn't tell you that many, really.
Yeah, but still, even let's take a look to powerlifting, right? The most familiar for you. Let's look to bodybuilding. Let's look to calisthenics, right? Let's see the CrossFit communities maybe more, they're more together, training in groups and all this. Football teams, of course, they're training together. Martial arts, look, they're all training in a group, more or less, right? Even if it's a combat sport, they're still in the group. So My concern is that I believe that all over the world this thing is happening, right? So the facilitators of the sport it's privately owned businesses. What do you find is a struggle to collaborate? So you look at business as a competition, and that creates this separation that we inspire people to take their journey into health and fitness, right? But at the same time, it ends up closed in four walls, right? So that's one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing here today, right?
Yeah.
That's why we, the Sports Lodge and My Gym Lincoln partnered up to, make Lincoln stand together and grow from a sports perspective, right? Could you yourself highlight the importance of sports for your mental health, for your emotional wellness, for anything that it had an impact on your life or someone who you love?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say in terms of the mental side of it, just purely just being able to get out of the house for starters. The first port of call for anything, whether you go to a gym or play sports or whatever it is you do, you have to leave the house. You can't sit in and do sports really. So that's kind of the first sort of positive, is that it forces you to go out and to maybe walk to the gym, or and then when you're there, obviously I can speak more on what we do here in my gym. We'll say hello to you, we'll speak to you, we will communicate, and that side of it can really help people that maybe don't see people that often, especially with there's lots of people that work from home now. People maybe don't see anyone all day, or maybe people of an older generation, they won't see anyone. And then when they come to the gym, if they can have a brief 5-10 minute conversation with me before they go and train, and maybe someone else that they go and see on the gym floor, and they have a 5-10 minute conversation with them, then that can be massive. That can change lives really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's when I started going to the gym, right? One of the things I was 14-year-old, right, and I was going into a basement gym basically. I'm not sure it was even a legal one.
Yeah.
But when I came to United Kingdom, I was 17. It's like almost 11 years ago. And the first gym was community interest, society thing, right? And when I joined them, I had this kind of a thinking that in gyms people are, very, very protective, very, socially avoidant.
Yeah.
They just pump the muscles. They just take care of themselves. And I ended up getting into this gym, which was standing on a principles of community building, of community support, and that ended up changing the game in my mind. I realized that, look, it's not about that, right? But then I went into some old school gyms, and there were groups of people who were getting along together, but majority was, in separate ways. So do you think that the gym culture can lead the community, like in a way of directly leading the community to get together?
Yeah, 100%. I would say it's definitely possible. I think there'd maybe have to be some sort of like event where it forces people to come together, or alternatively, some people. So, for example, when I'm on work, I'm a mutual thing. So I maybe know one person and then another person, and they may end up communicating through me, because one person speaking to me and then someone else speaking to me, and then they may go off and continue to talk and then go and train together, and then more people might do the same thing. So it's kind of like a snowball effect, in that one person can sort of connect the dots and just go more and more and more, and then that's how you build communities, isn't it? That's based off something small that snowballs into something slightly larger, and something slightly larger, and then you just keep going and going and going, and before you know it, you've got hundreds of people that are all on a similar sort of path and have similar sort of goals that all talk to each other. So
100%. It's about bringing people together and showing that it's fine to get together, to train, to network, and it doesn't matter in which training facility or style you train.
Yeah,
right. It's all about becoming better. Right. So, is there anything that you could say that Lincoln City, the Lincoln community, is overseeing, and where they could do better?
I wouldn't know specifically what to say on that really. Yeah, I wouldn't know massively what to say on that, on what they could do better. Maybe just giving opportunities to more people to be able to enter gyms and do sports. So just sort of more opportunities, I guess, is the only thing I can really say. The more opportunities, the more likely people are to join, especially at different price points as well. So I know people that can't go to a gym because it's too expensive, regardless of how cheap the gym is. It may not be cheap enough for them. So there needs to be maybe some kind of, because there's all sorts of bursaries and what's the word? They're all sort of where they pay to help people do stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of different. They do that for lots of different education, whatever. I would say maybe they should do that for sports, for gyms. They should sponsor people and be like, right, you've been diagnosed with some sort of mental health thing, for example. We, as the government or as a council or whoever, we're going to support you we're going to pay for your gym membership, but we want you to prove to us that you're going to go 2-3 times a week. Yeah. So you're going. We're going to sponsor you. We're going to pay your gym membership for 6 months. We will only continue to pay it for that 6 months if you go 2 or 3 times a week, and you can prove that to us. And they do that in all sorts of other ways for other sort of industries. But I'm not sure why the sports industry doesn't get that as much.
I believe that we are coming into the age in times where we start to better understand sports. How it can help with gender equality, how it can help with social anxiety things, how it can help to with emotional wellness and mental health. And there are many cases. How PTSDs are being treated on Brazilian jiu-jitsu mats. With powerlifting, right? So I think that's maturing. Becoming mature with understanding that sport is beyond achievement. So yeah, well, you're making great points, because that's what this is about. Everyone has some sort of an idea that how we can make the community better, and it doesn't matter. It involves the government, it involves NHS, it involves local leaders, it involves cornhole quarter businesses. It doesn't matter, Everyone can play a role, as you do every day here in my gym, by helping people, by always smiling. That's how I see you. You're always positive. You always bring good energy, and that's part of the mental wellness. Somebody, who all they needed was a smile.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Literally,
yeah.
I've been there.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So pleasure, Tom. Just one more last question. Yeah. So if you could reach millions of people around the world with one message, what that would be?
I would say, that's such a like a loaded question.
A responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's make it real for a second. Let's imagine millions are going to watch this.
Yeah. I would say you've just got to, in terms of, okay, I'll keep it specific to sport and gym related stuff. I would say just start. As maybe the only advice I could ever give if you're thinking about starting, or if you're thinking about going and doing boxing, jiu-jitsu, football, rugby, starting the gym, whatever. The hardest part is doing the first session or speaking to the person that's going to help you sign up for the first time. That initial interaction is the hardest part, and then after that, it only gets better from there. It's only up from there. So I'd say the best advice I could give to anyone, and what I do tell people, if people want my services specifically, the hardest part is coming up and asking and just querying how you can do it. And yeah, so I would say just start is the sort of advice I would give.
That's a very good message, and it touches me as well, because we were starting this podcast today. So just start. So introduce yourself to the people who watch, what you do, and what kind of help they can get from you.
So my name's Tom, obviously, as we know. I work out of here in my gym in Lincoln. I'm a personal trainer. I've done my degree, so I'm qualified in strength and conditioning. I help people drop body fat, feel good. I'm not some kind of like crazy guy where I'm like, you're going to eat 800 calories a day. I do it smartly through science, and I make sure that everyone feels good. I communicate well, and yeah. So, I mean, if anyone were to want to use my services, then come along, ask me. Instagram, in person, whatever. I'm a pretty open book, and I'll basically do whatever I can to help people out. You know, sometimes I'm here at 5:30, sometimes I'm here at 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m., helping people out. You know, I'll do what I can. I want to try and make it as accessible as possible for people.
Yeah, sounds amazing. So Tom is here in my gym Lincoln, and he's actively helping people to get stronger and more healthy. So contact the guy, call my gym Lincoln, ask him directly, and all the best, Lincoln.
Nice one.
Pleasure.
Cheers, mate.